Again, we are just in a dead period for music. Like I don't even know what to talk about. So I've just been like taking a break, not streaming, not making videos. I feel like there's legit nothing going on. People are just waiting, I think, for like Uzi to drop and Drake to drop and like 21 Savage, the collab tape to drop. Like nobody's doing anything. So all we really got to talk about today is academics started talking about shit that we already low-key say all the time about like Cardi having a cult fan base and whatnot, and why. And actually it relates. Shout out Hello Yassine, but I've been reading the 48 Laws of Power, and low-key Cardi he might have wrote this book, because there's so many things that apply to him, such as let's see, what's the last chapter I just read? Court attention at all cost, or reputation, so much depends on it, guard it with your life. Basically like being mysterious, always never give up your next move, even if it's a lie, and like lie about your past and shit. It's pretty maniacal, but regardless, obviously Playboi Carti is doing something right. So let's check this out.
Cardi got a cult.
100%. We talk about this all the time.
Cardi started building that shit for a while though. I'll say some shit that this might not be popular.
I feel like the reason that Cardi has a cult is because ever since like 2016, 2017 is when he started popping off because of Uzi and the co-signs with A$AP Rocky and whatever. He also had his own following. I'm not trying to like retract from that or detract from that. But I feel like he had it all planned from the start, like especially that one video in the hotel room where like, I can't fuck with these, blah. Cause like they're not on the same page, or like they're not, like we're not thinking the same way. I feel like the whole time he knew. And I remember I did a video on him and like his come up with A$AP Rocky, and A$AP, this is what Cardi claimed, taught him how to move. And so A$AP at one point, the mob, they had a cult at least at one point, until like, you know, shit kind of got dismantled because of Bari and Ian Connor's allegations, and then A$AP Rocky kind of got like less and less active, but in a different way than Cardi, because A$AP like low-key just don't even drop music. And now he's like an A-list celebrity. I don't even know A-list, but he's dating Rihanna, so he's low-key the backup dancer to Rihanna at this point, because Rihanna's so big. She a billionaire. She got more money than him. But yeah, so I feel like Cardi just knew how to move the entire time, whereas Uzi just kept he's acted the same the whole time, which was good at the very start, because when you're growing you want to be as active as possible, but then later on you want to, like, once you already have an established name, you want to be more and more mysterious. That's why I hate when these underground rappers are all mysterious. Like, bro, you ain't even have 100K followers yet. Like, chill out there, buddy. You're not that guy, pal.
Popular, but Cardi created the cult that I thought that Uzi was gonna have, and just off of Uzi having to hit music.
Nah, here's another thing. I think Cardi has the cult that Uzi did have. I feel like at one point Uzi did have a cult following, and it's just diluted a little bit. He still has some cult members. It's just smaller than what Cardi's is. Although, as we've talked about before, he's got a larger fan base. It's just its core is smaller than Cardi's, whereas like Cardi's core is basically like his entire fan base, which ultimately is better. Like if you got 100K fans that are willing to buy like every tour ticket, as opposed to 1 million. Like we've talked about how like 24K Golden has like a #1 song with Mood or whatever, but like what does that mean if you can't sell tickets to your own show? It's low-key less money in the long run.
Music, but Cardi got it, nigga. Cardi got blind allegiance supporters because they look at Cardi bigger than music.
Facts.
Uzi ain't bigger than music. Cardi they look at as bigger than music, my nigga.
People look at Cardi like he's actually Satan, and he's inspired a whole generation. I think I talked to Tracky and Lewis about this. They were saying how low-key Cardi may have ruined a whole generation of rappers who are trying to emulate what he's doing And it makes everybody, since he's bigger than music, like Cardi doesn't even drop music, right? Because of that, everybody's just trying to be cool and a fashion icon. So the music is just going downhill because the fans don't even care about that. They just care about all of like the lore behind Playboi Carti. And honestly, I like that more, like the culture around Cardi, as opposed to, although Uzi has a culture behind him too, but Cardi's kind of taken that over for some reason lately. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think about that. Has he ruined the next generation of rappers? But then, yeah, Cardi just only has 3 projects out, so he's obviously bigger than music. Fashion icon with the Rick Owens and shit. I'd like to see if he still continues to rock Rick Owens in the next couple years after he's seen all these kids rock it, because he's got to be the trendsetter, right? Especially when it comes to fashion.
I don't know how he did it. I think he's a smart motherfucker. I thought that Uzi would have had that, but trust me, Uzi don't got a cult like Cardi.
Yeah, you don't.
Cardi has mastered symbolism. He's mastered how to stay away but still be involved. He's mastered all these things.
Facts.
Cardi, I'm telling you, if you had asked me this 5 years ago, I would have said, nigga, what are you talking about? Uzi's gonna have people eating out of his hands. No, Uzi's amazing, but Uzi has people eating off of his music. Yeah, they want good music from him. Cardi is transcended, and this is why when I say Cardi's a culture, bro, like,
I think what he's getting at is like, so Uzi outside of music, he's tried to be like this fashion icon as well, you know, Balenci, but he also rocks like the little street fits. He actually posts more fit pics than Cardi, but when Cardi pops out a new fit, like literally everybody's exchanging these photos like they're Pokemon cards online. It's a totally different culture around it. People are probably selling them like they're leaks. But with Uzi, like, again, because he's out so often and taking pictures with fans and posting so much on social media, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just that because he kind of blew up with Cardi, although he blew up before him, I feel like people compare him so much. Whereas if Uzi was like his own thing outside of Cardi, like, he'd be chilling. And he is still chilling. His numbers are actually higher than Cardi's. But for some reason, just like it's the feeling, it's not necessarily the numbers, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. It's like my tweet like 2 weeks ago. It's like, influence is much different than followers. Cardi's influence is greater in fashion and in music right now. Actually, even in 2018, like with I feel like every YouTube producer wanted to be a Playboy, or started out to be a Playboi Carti type beat producer. Or a lot of them, because it was just like, it's an infectious sound and it's easy, like it's like very bouncy and whatnot.
The nigga went on an arena tour without any bona fide hit songs, my nigga.
Speaking on that, Drip My Sleep said Uzi can still sell out bigger arenas than Cardi, so it doesn't mean anything. That's a good because I think you might be right, but I think it's about the ratio. Uzi has more fans and he appeals to a wider audience. He's definitely got like more female fans, especially with like the more melodic shit, whereas Cardi's like, he got some female fans, but it's mostly like edgy, you know, teens, let's be real. Like with the vamp shit. I think the ratio though is that all Cardi fans, if they're coming to a city, they're fucking going. Whereas like Uzi fans, yeah, he might be able to sell a bigger tour because he's got 5, 10x or 2x. I don't know what the multiplier is, but he's got like 10x more followers on Instagram. But you know, people are less inclined, even though they're a fan of Uzi, to go to that. But I also think it's because Cardi's still kind of in his prime, music wise, quality wise. Well, actually, depending on but like numbers wise, whereas Uzi is technically too. But he's just giving out the sauce too much. Whereas I feel like sound wise, I mean, in my opinion, it's all opinion based. 2017, 2016, 2018, that was like Uzi's prime for a lot of the Uzi fans. I know some people can be like, oh my God, just let him evolve. But come on, let's be real. I listen to old Uzi more than new Uzi. And actually, sometimes with Cardi, I listen to some of the old Cardi too. But also, I like the King Vamp era. But we will see in March or whenever he drops Pink Tape. We will see. Because again, all it takes is one song, as we talk about. One song blows up, like an EXO Tour Life Part 2. Even though he's got a Part 2. Uzi got everyone in his bag again. Easy. Or in his hand, whatever it is. His sack. His ball sack.
He basically announced a tour essentially about a lifestyle. And people went, you can't fuck with that.
Cardi's just too exclusive, bro. It all comes down to that. Once you become like a celebrity, you can't give up too much of your life because then it turns into like you're a regular person. Whereas Cardi is seen as a fucking god. Why? Because you don't know what he actually is. For all we know, bro could legit be a vampire or a ghost or some shit. But Uzi, like, you could go to New York or Philly or be in Miami or whatever, and you could like literally run into him on the street. When have people ever ran into Cardi on the street? Nah, he's probably, you know, he rolls up to the back of wherever restaurant. He probably don't even go to restaurants. He moves like a real G, like he's about to get shot, even though I don't think, you know, street people are coming after him. But like with the photos, they're trying to shoot him with their iPhone. And yeah, they're being Cardi's Halloween costume. Like his just look is more famous than Uzi's right now. And as we was talking about, branding is everything. Like I was even telling Bella, and I didn't want to be a dick rider, so I didn't do it. But I was like, even right now, Yeet has a famous brand or famous aesthetic with like the turban or like the shiesty mask with like the hat even like sideways on it, the hoodie. Maybe not even hoodie, but you know what I'm talking about. Like you could easily be Yeet, whereas Uzi is like, what would you do? You would be like you know, like cut off or be a midget. Like you bend down on your knees and put your knees in your shoes to make yourself look like a dwarf. You know what I'm talking about? And like color your hair. Like I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Like he needs that look back. The spiky hair, low-key, was kind of hard. Uzi, he has too many looks. That's what it is. Like Cardi is like everybody's vamp. Uzi's like, it used to be the colored hair, but then again, it was too easy to copy because like every rapper did that at that point. Like Lil Yachty, Lil Pump, name any SoundCloud rapper back then. Icy Narco with the blue hair, Kid Boo with the pink hair. Sofago is even doing the pink hair now. So like at this point, it's not even unique to Uzi's brand anymore. People probably forgot that like he was one of the first people to start all that. So now, what does he do? I don't know. I do not know. Cardi, I feel like, with the vampire shit, nobody else was doing it. YoungBoy kind of did it on one of his music videos with the face paint, but then everybody was saying, oh, he's Cardi. Or like Trippy was wearing makeup, oh, that's Cardi. Whereas if someone has colored hair, nobody says anything about Uzi. That's just unfortunate. Bald Uzi era. Yo, if Uzi went bald, but then again, there's like Freddie Gibbs and other bald rappers. Whereas again, Cardi, like nobody was wearing face paint as a rapper before him, or at least I did not know. So that's why. Now he took it from the rock star, so he didn't originate anything, but I don't know, Uzi just needs that again. But yeah, he doesn't need to do shit. He already had a top 10 hit, so like he doesn't need to prove anything. As we discussed 2 days ago on stream, he should do whiteface, but Cardi already did that. He got the fro. The fro was just a costume, I think. He was being like 80s. He did have the diamond in his forehead. He did, but he took that shit out. Actually, people did remember that. Rappers keep falling off trying to dress like rock stars or punks. Most of them don't listen to that type of music and are posers. Would you consider Cardi? I feel like Cardi isn't a poser though with the vamp, because I was even going back in like 2017 interviews when I was doing a video once, and Cardi like sprinkled in that he liked vampire movies and that he loved that whole aesthetic. And this was back in 2017, so he was planning it the whole time, which is exactly what Academics was saying. Like the whole time he'd been planning this whole cult or I don't know, putting the pieces together. I don't think he ever thought it would become this. I don't think anyone could ever expect that unless you're truly a narcissist. But I'm dick riding too much because now you acting like Cardi did everything. Aren't you the guy who was saying something about your own rap name in the comments before? But nah, I clearly said that I did not think Cardi started the face paint. I said he took it from rock stars. It's just that he was one of the first rappers to do that. But the thing is, with like the eccentric looks, Young Thug definitely walked so Uzi and Cardi could run. And that's why Young Thug fucked with Cardi and Uzi so much. Because, you know, they like kept the legacy going. They just, you know, a lot of people are going to be hating on this, but I just think that Uzi and Cardi had better music than Young Thug. Sorry. Young Thug, although, does have bigger hits than Cardi. Like, what was the one? Like, Pick Up the Phone. He's definitely got some major hits, like, on the radio. So you can't take anything away from him. Way Too Sexy, but that was Future's song. Or no, that was Drake's song. But as we discussed, I think Uzi definitely has better music discography wise. He just has more bangers, bro. He's got already 3 classic albums himself. And if we're not even talking about EA, Love Is Rage, Lil Uzi Vert vs. the World, Love Is Rage 2. And then, you know, I like the Perfect Love tape. I don't like it as much as those 3. Eternal Take, you can consider that a classic too if you want, because like the era, the whole culture or story behind it, the narrative, it's kind of like Whole Lotta Red, as we all know. But that's how many albums that Cardi's just got out total, which is crazy. I think what happens with Cardi is that he makes like a whole era out of every single album though. Whereas Uzi, like 2016, 2017, like that whole thing was an era of 3 projects. Actually 4. Whereas Cardi like switches it up entirely the next album. So I'm excited to see what music that's the whole thing about Cardi. It's so unexpected, everything. Not even trying to dick ride here. You know, we just discussing.
Also, when Cardi's next album drop, it's gonna be fucking crazy. You know, I knew when shit was different. All the young niggas who I was interviewing for like Off the Record, when they came to me with like, because we always chop it up like sometimes half an hour, before, like just real industry conversation. I wouldn't put this on cameras, bro. When they talk about Cardi, they're like, no, that's the nigga. That's the nigga. His peers look up to him.
Someone said, Kendall, for some reason eras easily come to Cardi while it seems like Uzi has to create his eras of music. I think that's what happens when you have a stronger cult, because you don't have to create your own narratives anymore. You don't have to create your own stories. You don't have to create your own anything. Like everybody just, it's everything you do is up to interpretation. And that was in this book, the 48 Laws of Power. When you leave, when you're very mysterious in your branding or just in your communication, you leave literally everything up to interpretation, even if it's wrong. That's why he has all these fans like creating stories and shit, and he don't even say a word because he doesn't want people to be concrete on anything, because that would just kill the whole lore behind him. Whereas Uzi, again, because he communicates with the fans too much, it like sets everything in stone. You know exactly what's happening, exactly what's not. That's why Eternal Take, when he was saying soon the whole time and you knew it was a lie, it still got everybody hyped. He's still kind of doing that, but I feel like that part is over. Like, you can't do the same trick over and over again in this book. So that's the difference. One is mysterious, one is too out in the open. Uzi does deserve his flowers. I always tell y'all, I think that Uzi helped out Cardi's career. Think about it. Uzi gave him 2 features on his first official mixtape when Uzi was significantly bigger than Cardi. Also, he got Cardi to get on his Perfect Love tape with Offset from the Migos and him. Wait, right? Wasn't Offset on that shit? Of course we Ghetto Flowers. Of course we, yeah, Offset. And so Playboi Carti at that point like wasn't really that big at that point in 2016. So Uzi gave him 3 songs, essentially put him on his own platform, and gave Uzi his platform for like, the only reason I listened to the 2 songs on Cardi's mixtape, as we talked about all the time, is because Uzi was on it. So you got to give Uzi his flowers. He's too generous. Too generous with his energy. Whereas Cardi, when has Cardi given him a feature lately? He didn't give one for Eternal Take. Although I think Uzi wanted it solo because he didn't get anybody on there. But yeah, I swear to God, if Uzi's not on Pink Tape, it's fucked up, man. Fucked up. But yeah, Uzi's going on tour. We'll see in March whose tour sells out more, whose tour is crazier. Because remember, Uzi performed like at the festivals this summer and it looked crazy. Remember that girl that was like reaching up on his dick? Like, you didn't see that for Cardi? So I think Uzi's just as good of a performer, potentially even better than Cardi, because he actually like jumps into the crowd and shit. He's more interactive and more fun with it, whereas Cardi is like on the stage, he's more of a production kind of thing, like Kanye. If you've ever been to a Kanye tour, I went here in Miami at American Airlines Arena. He had a stage. This was for St. Pablo. He had a stage, and I had floor seats that like floated over everyone. So he would perform and just like, you'd be like, wait, what the fuck? While he was saying, he would just sit there staring at people sometimes. Like, yeah, Kanye definitely think he got a cult. He does. It's waning down a little bit because it's hard to defend him at this point. But let's be honest, Cardi used a lot of people to get to the top. Hey man, again, 48 laws of power, bruh. Attach your name to people who are already higher than you, and then once you get above them, don't pay them any mind. It's a sick world, man. It's a sick world, but that's how power works. It's like, this is how I related to it in the book when it was saying that. It's like when there's a rapper who's beefing with a bigger rapper, the smaller one is always the one that's talking a lot because they're trying to get that clout, right? Whereas the guy who's above, he's trying to like not pay mind to, because he doesn't want to give up the energy this other person's trying to get, even though just no matter what, I mean, if you do it too much, like people will just stop listening to you, and actually it'll lesser your reputation. But at the beginning, like if someone's dissing you, like it kind of gets you clout because you're attaching to their name, even if they don't pay any mind to you. And if that person does pay mind to you, like they actually say something back, like that's even better. You got them. I think we all know this though. I read the 48 Laws of Power and obsessed with it. Nah, I'm not obsessed with it. I just think that it relates to a lot of scenarios. I don't think that everything relates, and this is my second time reading it, so it's just fresh in my mind. But I think that just like with anything, nothing's universal. So there are times to turn these things on, the lessons from this book, and there are times to not, because you could literally, you're not a human if you don't have empathy, or you're a psychopath if you don't have empathy. So there are times to, climb the leaderboard or totem pole of power, but at the same time you can do it in ways that are genuine without lying or like deceit. You know what I mean? Like you can't really say that Cardi, like the fans will say like he did this person wrong or this person wrong, but what has he really done wrong to anybody except for have a fight with this person where it wasn't public, like his shit with Uno the Activist or even Uzi. He didn't even say a word about that. Uzi is the one that said it, and it was all in private, like they fought and everything. So he never did anybody wrong publicly, which I think is like the worst thing you can do. Because if you handle your problems outside or don't handle it and just kind of say like, yo, we're not friends, like sorry, shit happens like that all the time. I've cut a ton of people off. I'm sure a lot of people have cut me off and not even realize it. He loves Uzi. He missed his son's birthday to blame. No, it wasn't even his. Oh, it was his actual birth day, like the day he was born. Yeah. Attach your name to people bigger than you. When you surpass them, they pay no. If that's not some of the most fucked up backstabbing shit I've ever heard. Yeah, no, facts. I'm just saying that's how it. This whole book, it's honestly pretty narcissistic. Actually, the whole journey to get power is about being not narcissistic. Like, being narcissistic is thinking you're better than everyone, or at least trying to be. I mean, everybody tries to be a little bit, better than everybody else. If you're not a man. I'm sorry. Are you a pussy? So if you think you're better than everybody, like inherently, then you're narcissistic. But if you're trying to get power and be better than everybody, like that's a narcissistic, I don't know, like, again, journey. Let me look up what narcissist means. A person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. Yeah, so if you're trying to get so much power, you low-key have a huge interest or admiration of yourself. You're like, damn, I'm a fucking GOAT. Like, I deserve all this power. When a lot of times, like, I feel like I just have a lot of work to do. Like, I think that I can be better than a lot of people, or at least in my own standards. You guys probably think this way too. If you don't, like, again, you need to get that way, or else you're not going to be successful. Everything in this world is a game. Cardi low-key just winning right now.
Third-party information.
Playboi Carti is Jesus, actually, and he wrote the Bible. Just wanted to say that before academics went.
I'm going to just definitively stand in this point. Without saying names, I know about 3 or 4 people that came through rap music, and they took their influence and they became power drunk. What I mean by power drunk, they became infatuated with getting people to believe everything they did. They started acting. Anytime you see a rapper start acting weird, painting fingernails, curling their eyebrows, doing a lot of weird shit, doing upside down crosses, whatever, just start talking some demonic shit, it's usually because they realize that their fan base has blind allegiance to them, and they're trying to see how far it could go. Let me tell you this.
I agree with that partially, that they're trying to test how much like they can go, how far they can go, and the fans will actually do it. But also at the same time, I don't know. I feel like they actually believe in the Satanist stuff. Like, once, I don't know if they've sacrificed people, but when they, I don't know, do certain things and then good comes out of it, as in like they get more famous, then it's like a confirmation. So they're like, oh shit, I gotta keep doing this more, you know? But the satanic shit, it's also just a brand. I feel like that's been a thing for like the last 100 years with rock stars, Kiss, all the rock stars that do face paint and all. I feel like that's just it just makes you cooler or whatever, you know. You're doing something different than rappers, because I mean, I know a lot of people do it, but at the same time, these street rappers literally all just like turn on a camera, go into their street with like their whole fucking gang, you know, shoot a music video that looks like every other rap video. So when you do something that's like not conforming to just regular hip-hop standards, which is low-key pretty low, then you already stand out pretty easily. But I wonder who he's talking about, like Young Thug, maybe Lil Wop giving up his Wop.
All of these motherfuckers is rich. It's only so much things you could buy when you got money. All these niggas got a Lambo truck.
I say that to y'all all the time. Money don't even matter at a certain point. Like, influence is the real currency, and you take, bruh.
Maybach truck, the Bentley truck, everybody got everything.
I'm still trying to get money though.
Big houses, they all get tons of women. That's not the thing anymore for the upper echelon.
Right.
Most of these people yearn and they desire power. They desire control. I believe Kanye West is one of these people.
I knew he was gonna say that, because Kanye went on this whole religious tangent. Not tangent, he obviously believes in it, or he seems like he believes in it, and now he's trying to expose the industry, and I think everybody thinks he's right, but also he just goes too far with it and just doesn't articulate himself, and he says off the wall shit that's just not true completely, but it does have facts sprinkled in there. And he needs like a translator or something to like the regular people that can speak English.
There's a lot of these motherfuckers who want to have a cult.
Kanye had one.
Cult. I don't even want to say names.
Who is he talking about? Because Kanye already got one.
There's an interview I did.
Who's somebody that's doing like weirdo shit, but it's not working? Because I feel like he's kind of being academics. He's kind of, I don't know what the word is. He's R. Kelly. What the fuck? Trippy? Uzi? X?
I remember when X said,
X definitely had a cult, for sure.
If something happens to me or I die, I think he said it's on camera. Or if he didn't say it on camera,
he said Drake did it. That's what he said. But with Kanye's situation, they're not going to do anything to Kanye. I feel like if they do, that's going to be an uproar, and people are going to be even more racist to Jews.
Off camera. He was just like, if there's going to be so many people who kill themselves if something happens to me. That type of thinking is cult. Trust me. Because in reality, nobody committed suicide next died. But that even thought,
Smoke Perp, Tyga, Trippy,
is a direct byproduct.
I feel like he might be talking about Trippy, but yeah, Trippy don't really got a cult like that. I think what happens to have a full-on cult, you can't ever go like mainstream with anything. You have to just cultivate your cult the whole time and never divert from it. But once you go pop, it's like you sold your soul. You can't sell your soul to your own fans anymore, because you're basically saying like they're not enough. You're trying to be bigger than them. And there's, Trippie obviously has made a lot of money, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. And he's been able to put out a diverse array of songs and types of music. But yeah, I feel like because Cardi hasn't ever gone mainstream, he's had songs like Magnolia go mainstream, among others. X kind of went mainstream as well because he had some like pop songs, but they also fit into his sound with like the slow, emotional shit.
Product of you seeing how much people will do
what up, Grant?
For you. And it's the reason why J. Cole made a song like False Idols, which was aimed at Kanye. Kanye has seen that too. Kanye yearns for ultimate control. I don't think he wants to really rule the United States. I think Kanye West, think about it. If he
define cult, I believe it's like, I don't even know how to say it. A system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward a particular figure or object. And so when you have a cult, you are basically like the supreme leader, like some like Hitler shit, or like low-key Donald Trump has a cult. People really fuck with Donald Trump. Cardi, same. Kanye, same. There are people that will, it's basically like you have people that will blindly follow whatever you do, no matter the morals or ethics, no matter if it's contradictory to what they're saying. A misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. There you go.
Looks up to people like
YoungBoy got a cult. He does. Every fan base, every artist has a cult that's at least like small. Like there's just, when you have stans, a stan is like somebody who's in your cult, at least in my opinion. But a cult is like of a certain size. YoungBoy, I feel like, yeah, he's got a cult that say like YoungBoy better, but I feel like a lot of them low-key don't even, like, they're not as strong as Cardi or Kanye. I don't know. I feel like they don't disrupt things like Cardi and Kanye on the internet. It's really just all a meme, and people who don't even listen to YoungBoy say YoungBoy better just as the joke.
He wants to be someone who says anything and people blindly believe.
That's facts.